Hello friends, good evening to all of you. So I'm back with another video on Sociology optional subject for UPSC CSE means examination. And this video we are going to cover Sociology and Common Sense subsection under Sociology, the discipline. So friend, please do these shares. It will really motivate me to continue the awesome course. Share as much as possible so that more and more people will get benefited. Comment and like the video and ask any doubt if you have, and hit the subscription button below the video as hard as you can. And now you can also follow us on Facebook page, that is facebook.com/Unorthodox Academy. So friend, as you already know that we are covering slot 2 autonomous topic. We have already covered these topics of paper 2, and by this video we are also going to finish the Sociology, the discipline of paper 1 by covering Sociology and Common Sense. So friend, basically Sociology is different from common sense observations. The common sense explanations are generally based on what may be called as naturalistic or individualistic explanations. A naturalistic explanation for behavior rests on the assumption that one can really identify natural reasons for behavior, whereas sociology does break away from common sense observation and ideas as well as from philosophical thought. It does not always or even generally lead to spectacular result, but meaningful and unsuspected connections can be reached only by sifting through masses of connections. So if we explain poverty from the common sense, then it is pupils are poor because they are afraid of work, which come from problems families are unable to budget properly, suffer from low intelligence and shiftlessness. Whereas it from the perspective of sociology, it is contemporary poverty which is caused by the structure of inequality in class society and is experienced by those who suffer from chronic irregularity of work and low wages. So great advances in sociological knowledge has been made generally, incrementally and rarely by a dramatic breakthrough. Sociology has a body of concept, methods and data, no matter how loosely coordinated. This cannot be sustained by substituted by common sense. A common sense is unreflective since it does not question its own origin. Or in other words, it does not ask itself, why do I hold this view? Whereas the sociologist must be ready to ask of any of our beliefs about ourselves, no matter how cherished. Is this really so? Both the systematic and questioning approach of sociology is derived from a broader tradition of scientific investigation, because in sociology, scientific investigation is more concentrated or focused upon scientific investigation because it is originated, or basically sociology emerged during the inventions by science or during the upcoming of science. So this emphasis on scientific procedure can be understood only if we go back in time and understand the context or social situations within which sociological perspective emerged as sociology and was greatly influenced by the great development in modern sciences. So if we differentiate sociology and common sense, then we see that common sense are views which are based on people's immediate and often limited experiences. This leads to distorted view of reality. Hence common sense knowledge is a statement of obvious which is simply based on assumption. Whereas sociological view are based on rigorous research and therefore evidence based. This can either be based on large scale quantitative research or in-depth qualitative research. For example, quantitative we see the census, and sociology knowledge is therefore the product of theory, development and testing. Common sense views tends to reflect social traditions and conventions and therefore tend to reinforce the status quo and resist social change. Whereas if we see in the sociologists, conflict approaches in sociology raises serious questions about the status quo and call for social change, as Karl Marx already believed in change, or is Karl Marx is an conflictist. So common sense views tend to be historically and culturally specific and are often based on stereotypical images, whereas interactionist or social action theories recognize that social life is socially constructed and relative to time and place. It actively challenges stereotypes. Whereas common sense views lack validity and reliability, and in spite of this, sociology knowledge has relatively greater reliability and validity. Sociological views are based on quantitative data and are highly in real reliability and those based on qualitative data are high in validity. So whether sociological knowledge is superior to common sense forms is matter of debate. Some postmodernists would claim that sociological knowledge is not superior to common sense knowledge. This is because they claim that there is no such thing as truth and therefore all knowledge is uncertain. Sociologists, of course, stand up for sociology over common sense. Sociology is more important than common sense as it is evidence based and challenges common sense views of the world and enhances human life and freedom. Giddens claims that sociological knowledge often becomes common sense knowledge. Most sociologists describe common sense in very negative terms. They see it as biased, subjective, and incomplete. Common sense is shown to be not only wrong but also contradictory. For example, out of sight of mind and absence makes the herd grow fonder. But there are also many cases in sociological writings where beliefs long held as factual have proven to be wrong or unsubstantiated. On most important issues in sociology, there are two or more theories. Common sense knowledge and understanding of social life must be correct some of the time. Otherwise, people who are not sociologists could not survive. Some people possesses more valid and empirical knowledge than others, and this knowledge is indispensable for social life. As sociology becomes a profession, practitioners have more time to study individual groups and societies, thereby having more advantages over most other people. However, there are instances where people have profound understanding of social world gained through careful, repeated and varying observations of the world. Common sense is often wrong, but that does not prove that all common sense is wrong, and statements often contradicting each other. Like other social scientists, sociologists do not something as fact because everyone knows it. Instead, each piece of information must be tested and recorded, then analyzed in relationship to other data. However, this method is also partial and limited. Sometimes sociological findings confirms the common sense view. Sometimes they do not. The only way to test common sense assumptions about society is to do it scientifically. Sociology relies on scientific studies in order to describe and understanding a social environment. At times, the finding of sociologists may seem like common sense because they deal with facets of everyday life. This does not mean that there is no place for institutions or common sense in sociology. These approaches are rich sources of insights, but they can provide only hunches. The hunch must be tested by methods of science. So thank you guys for listening and watching this video. Please do these things. Thank you.